The tools exist: generative design, digital twins, bio-integrated systems. But tools without vision are nothing more than expensive toys. The magic happens when human imagination meets experiences that are yet to be defined. When we stop asking what's next and start asking what if. These are the conversations that reshape life on the water. This is Rethink's Night Out.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. We're here now with the movers and shakers of our industry. I like to think I'm one of those, maybe a little bit. And tonight we hope that you guys really learn from this event and do a bit more moving and a bit more shaking in how we move forward this industry we all love. And so, Sailing Yacht Zero needs no introduction. What I would like to say, it's the first sailing vessel to be certified as a sail-driven vessel and only a motor-assisted. Okay, that's quite an important distinction. And Sailing Yacht Zero is very functional driven. I want you to really think about how every function on this boat contributes towards its vision of being sufficient, of being efficient and self-sufficient. One of those functions, cooling. We all like to be cool when we're cruising around. Even Mr. Slim here, he uses a lot of energy, and that presents a big problem for a boat like Sailing Yacht Zero. So how do we cool the boat in this, moving towards this vision for Sailing Yacht Zero? And we've actually touched upon a few ideas earlier. But one inspired individual saw a bit of paper flapping at the base of a mast hole during a refit. What's this paper flapping here? And it was explained that it's actually because of movement of air between the inside of the boat and into the mast being drawn up the mast. Ah, that's very interesting. What if masts could do more than just carry sails? What if masts could be more than just a few lights looking fancy in Monaco, or solar panels, or all these other ideas that we actually explored very early in the project? And this was kind of the impetus for where we started at Carbolink, together with the broader group, to use masts as a chimney. So really use this idea of using the movement of air as a result of heat, drawing the air up the mast and evacuating air from the top, but drawing new air into the vessel and encouraging movement of the air. No power, no fans, just physics. So to do this, we started with a fresh sheet of paper, and we created a whole new process in order to facilitate this function within a mast as a chimney. Both at Carbolink, together with the broader team, it was very much a group effort to see how we could actually do this and create this process. Very enjoyable, very fun, very difficult. One of the biggest challenges, how do we have a mast that's full of stuff not be full of stuff? That was a big challenge in order to get that air really to move up inside the chimney, or mast, whatever you want to call it tonight. And so we did a lot of work, predominantly in FEA studies and analysis, to make sure that we placed the exact amount of carbon fibers exactly where we needed them, predominantly on the outside surface of the structure. So we wanted to move away from any internal surfaces. So we FEA'd pretty much top to bottom. Talk to Andy about it later if you want to learn more. Not my area of expertise, but it took a long time. And the result is a fantastic single piece mast tube co-cured in an autoclave with pretty much all of the stiffness and strength demands on the outside structure of the mast, with very little components going from either side of the mast, interfering with that flow of air to really allow that circulation in the vessel. You can see here, this is the lower panel section. So at the bottom of the mast, there's 4 very large cutouts, which is connected to the vessel. In a minute, we'll see a 3D model. On the left-hand side, you can see some internal stiffening systems. So these effectively replace any additional internal structures from either side of the mast wall. This is a big challenge that we faced, and one of the only sections where we do have parts crossing the mast. These are the tangs on the aft root and the through bars for the spreaders on the forward end. These have been designed aerodynamically to really allow the air to flow past them. And again, these are the only components crossing the mast and really influencing or getting in the way of any airflow. This is the mast head. So we have 4 big cutouts at the top of the mast, the halyard exits fore and aft, and 2 additional holes, plus an open top mast top. So quite a few holes. Again, a bit worrying, chopping holes in masts, but you'll be able to see this very soon. Here you can see just a schematic overall. So effectively what we've been able to do is allow air to be drawn in at the base of the mast. As the air warms up, it moves up through the mast tube. Again, not much in the way of the air to move, apart from a few of these aerodynamically designed tanks. And then the air evacuates the mast at the mast head. Here's a 3D model. So you can see the rectangular box. That's part of the system developed by Vitters in order to move the air from around the vessel and connect it to the mast. You can see the 2 holes on this side, 2 holes on the other side, where the air is drawn in. And you can also see the section in the bottom left-hand corner. And then we have the mast head. So it's like a Porsche convertible, basically an open top with a very light, small carbon cover to stop rain coming in. Halyards exits fore and aft, and 2 very large exits at the side of the mast to allow that air and that stale air to really escape and allow that flow of air through the system. So we've really enjoyed this process because we think it's been a big full circle of innovation. So it really started with a function. That function drove a process, and that process has really resulted in a fantastic product, which will soon be validated with Sailing Yacht Zero on the water. So that full circle of innovation, good reference to the circle of the zero. And this actually is ChatGPT's innovation of sailing in the future. A little bit crazy, but luckily we actually have the future of our industry. We hope, we think, we feel, we love, we do believe that firmly in Sailing Yacht Zero. And so what we think really, what the takeaway from Carbolink is that we have to be a bit like kids again. Sometimes this industry gets carried away in one direction, and we love boundary conditions and we love rules, but we've got to forget these, I think. We need to really be creative again and throw everything away and start from scratch in order to be able to realize and engage in a lot of these innovative ideas. Again, we're really looking forward to seeing Sailing Yacht Zero on the water, and we really are confident that a lot of these innovations you have heard and will hear about this evening are really where we should be moving. So we hope you are very excited about seeing this project sailing too. So thank you very much.